welcome to AT2's Dirty 2 live birthday celebration on December 18th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you guys are there. Remember, the theme is grown and sexy, or you can just come naked. We're going to have special guests. It's going to be a countdown show. We're going to count down our favorite moments from the show. Also, don't forget, bring a drink, bring your weed, whatever you want to. We're going to have a good time. We're going to play Never Have I Ever. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you guys for joining me for my birthday, December 18th. Be there or be square. Let's get real, y'all. All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy AT2. Thank you for checking out Talk the Real Deal with AT2. I'm here. I'm back. Better than ever. I don't know why people say that. I'm better than ever. Like, come on now. You've been here. I try to put the link in there, y'all, but it's not working for some reason. But I just want to say thank you guys for tuning into the show. And as you've seen, that was my special birthday show coming up December 18th, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure y'all there. We're going to play Never Have I Ever. All right, y'all. I wanted to go ahead and get into the topic today. Two things. We're going to talk about Megan Thee Stallion and this whole Tory Lanez thing. But before I start with that, can I just say, are we all done, sick and tired of hearing about that? Okay, that's what I thought. But I'm going to finish it off with this because I did get a chance to listen to Megan Thee Stallion's new album. Did you guys like it? I only see a couple of y'all in here. You know it's past midnight right now. Okay, I'll let y'all answer. Okay, what I'm going to say about the album is this. You kind of already gotten what you were going to get with Meg. It sounds like her mixtapes. If you listen to her mixtapes, it sounds exactly like that. And I'm not saying it's bad. She kind of falls into the same category that I take with the baby. With the baby, it's like the music that they make, you've heard it before, and they're going to keep making the same kind of music. And I get people want that certain sound, but the flow isn't going to switch up at all. The music is still going to be the same. It might got a different beat to it, but it's really any song that they come out with, it's always the same. But in particular, I wanted to get into the track Shots Fired. That was the first song off the album, actually, and this is where she actually responded to everything that was going on. Because remember, I talked about how Tory came out with a whole diss album, even though he said it wasn't a diss album, but he came out with a whole diss album. And basically, with that album, he was trying to vindicate himself and basically say, I'm innocent, this ain't how it went. But Meg all like, nah, like, this is what happened. So in her song, she basically claimed that, first of all, that the best friend was no good and the best friend was trying to get with Tory. Then she talked about how, he thought he was popping. He was only popping off of a remix. And I don't know what song she was talking about because I honestly don't even know no Tory Lanez song, to tell you the truth. I've heard of his music, but it's forgettable. And that's a problem with a lot of these artists. All their music is forgettable. But I don't know what song she was talking about off the remix he was talking. Actually, I have the lyrics up here. I meant to copy and paste it to the show, but my internet isn't working. That's why, I always say if you drop a few dollars on the Cash App, I can help out with the internets, new graphics, all that good stuff. Anyway. Here it is. Oh, she said you shot a 5'10" bitch with a 22. Talking about her. And I know y'all don't like me saying ums and uhs, but this is my show and it's not scripted. She say a P-N-word with a P gun in his feelings. He was in the back seat calling her a B-word. What else did it have on here? She did give a shout out to Breonna Taylor, how we still ain't got no justice after all these months. We still ain't got no justice for Breonna Taylor. I like how she mentioned that. Anybody that's with Tory, he must be paying them. She was clowning him the whole entire song. But I honestly liked it. I think it was cool that she did that because it's all like I think now people take the beef all personal, and so when they have beef with each other, they can't. Some artists, because they don't write their own songs, can't articulate that in a song, and she articulated that well. Out there right now, whoever watching, am I frozen right now? Because on my laptop it shows that I'm frozen. I'm sorry. Can you see me? I am here. All right. For those of y'all who ain't watching this live, probably gonna be like, "What the hell is he doing?" Okay, for whatever reason, it's frozen. But oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna try to pull up a picture here. One moment, y'all. But Megan did a interview with GQ where she talked about the allegations and well, here's the thing about it too, because I hate saying the word allegations because from her perspective it's true, but because I ain't got no money and that's why I got my cash app scrolling, I need to say allegations and allegedly and stuff like that. But she discussed the situation briefly, and an interesting point because I don't want to talk about the magazine because at the end of the day, they don't pay my bills or anything like that. Um, a lot of like the Breakfast Club and like uh, Hollywood Unlocked, they were talking about how with Megan, like when she does black media, she doesn't let them ask all the questions and stuff like that about the situation. She has a list of questions that you can ask her and a list of questions that you cannot ask her. But when she goes to the white media, and this is alleged, I don't know, I've never had an interview with Megan. I haven't had an interview with anybody to tell you the truth. But anyway, she stated, well, they're stating that she doesn't allow them to ask her questions, but when she goes to white media, they ask her anything and she's okay with answering it. And I don't think particularly it's that. If you were, and I talked about Jason Lee in a couple of episodes ago, if you guys tuning in for the first time, oh, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you. Um, I talked about how with Jason Lee, Charlemagne, certain people, they're problematic. So when you go to these shows, you know they're going to ask you the question, but they're not going to ask you the question in a way that you would receive it respectfully. And it's going to be like, so he shot you, like, was y'all fucking? Was y'all, damn it, I said the F word because YouTube demonetizes your videos, even though I'm not a partner yet. But, are you guys smashing? Are you doing this? Like, what was your relate? They're gonna ask certain questions that I mean, we all want to know, but at the end of the day, sometimes when you're hurting, you don't want to hear all that. That's basically what it is. I was gonna pull up a picture right here. Honestly, I don't know where that picture's from, but I'm probably gonna drool over it tonight. Y'all know I ain't got no sense. So people were making fun of me because I was all like, damn, I don't watch the body video about a million times without the sound even on. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I can't tell you one line from itself. Body yaddy yaddy yaddy, yaddy 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 with then body yaddy yaddy yaddy. And for those of you tuning in for the first time, I promise you, I'm sober. I'm not drunk at all. Y'all, I miss y'all because when I don't do a live show, I feel like I'm letting y'all down in a way. I hate that, but I feel like I'm letting y'all down when I don't do a whole bunch of live shows and stuff like that. Ooh, and maybe I should turn off the sound to my phone so that doesn't distract us. Sorry about that, y'all. Next, what I want to go to, if y'all have any comments about Tory, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section. But at this point, I think we're all over it. We're not saying that we don't care that a black woman was shot in her foot. We're not saying that. At the end of the day, I think if one person, if they don't want to tell the whole truth, then let's not talk about it at all. Simple as that. Moving on to Hitmaka, because when I kept seeing this name, I was like, Hitmaker, Hitmaker, Hitmaker. I'm all like, who is this? So Hitmaker formerly known as Youngberg, but since he's a producer now, he goes by Hitmaka. So he recently did an interview with Noriega, and I'm surprised this got played on Revolt because Revolt TV, it's owned by Diddy. Diddy don't like sharing his business, so I was surprised that the interview got out. Well, not got out. I mean, it's syndicate. Well, it's a part of the Revolt brand, the Noriega podcast. He also does. I forgot the other guy's name. I'm sorry if y'all watching this, which I ain't nobody, so they probably ain't watching this. It's called Nori and something. I think it's Nori and Ed show or something like that. And anyway, he was basically kissing and telling. And I'm gonna start out with the first story. He was talking about Whitney Houston. Basically, he alluded to that Ray J and Whitney Houston was smashing. So he said he was talking with Ray J. He walked in the room and Whitney Houston was like undressing herself basically. And it's kind of like, after all these years, Whitney Houston, after all these years, and especially what that family is going through, from the mom to Pat Houston, who's probably using her name and making money off of it allegedly. And Pat Houston is actually not even the like sister. Pat Houston is like the sister-in-law, but somehow she has control over Whitney's stuff. I don't know how that worked out. With Bobby Christina passing away, with recently Bobby Brown, Bobby Jr., his son, well, the interview was beforehand, but even with him passing away, I just feel like leave Whitney alone. It's bad enough they have. What's up, Miss Purple? Thank you for joining the show. I appreciate you. Hey, Miss Purple, am I glitching or can you see me perfectly? Let me know. I just feel like with Whitney Houston, leave Whitney alone. Leave her alone. Let her rest in peace. I don't want to see this damn hologram everywhere. I'm glad they canceled that shit. That's one thing COVID did right, is cancel that damn Whitney Houston hologram show. I don't want to see that at all. And I know some people put a different perspective, like, oh, well, this is everybody's chance to see Whitney, da 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 da. First of all, the hologram didn't look like her. Second of all, we have plenty of videos that we can watch of Whitney Houston. And some of y'all, and I'm not saying like y'all have to agree with me, but at the end of the day, I don't want to see no Whitney Houston hologram or nothing. But back to my point. Leave Whitney alone. Let her rest in peace. We already know allegedly her and Ray J had a thing going on. That's not a secret. We already know that, It's just, especially in a sensitive time right now, I'll say this, a sensitive time where, we have Black Lives Matter and there's a push for unity and stuff like that. And when we have legends, even when our legends aren't, 100% perfect, our legends and icons aren't 100% perfect, I feel that we need to protect them at this moment right now, It's trying to stay away. I know. Luckily, we on the same time zone. Everybody else sleeping, but I was all like, you know what? I'm gonna try to do a late show, see how it works out. So I'm testing it out right now. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And so I felt like him, because technically Hitmaker, technically him stating that story about him seeing Whitney undressing in Ray J's room or whatever, that wasn't his story to tell. That's my problem with that. That wasn't his story to tell. Let me go to the next. Hold on, y'all. Another story that he told. Damn it, I did the again. Another story that he told was about Teairramari. Now, Teairramari was an R&B is an R&B singer. She was on Love and Hip Hop. He was also on that show. Love and Hip Hop as well. And we already knew this. He told the story about how, him and Ray J, they were kind of going at it back and forth because Ray J used to date Teairramari, and he was talking about how he wasn't really messing around. Teairramari gave him fellatio. And so he told this story on the podcast about how, she gave him fellatio and stuff like that. But if you've seen the Love and Hip Hop, this is when I was like an avid watcher. This was season 1. That story already came out or whatever. But I just think like regurgitating that story back up, what was the point of it? Like, what was that going to do for anybody? It's a story that you didn't need to tell. And it just seemed like him talking about like, oh, his ex hookups and stuff like that. It's one thing to write a tell all book, but it just seemed like if you producing all these records, like a lot of the records that he produced was like for Chris Brown, Big Sean. He does a lot of producing, songwriting and stuff like that now. The only song that he had was what song did he have? It was that one girl. She sung that. And I want a freak in the morning, a freak in the evening. Na 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 na. I know when some of y'all watch this back, y'all gonna be like, "What song was he singing?" Oh, in the "Hey Sexy Ladies, it was nice to know you, but I gotta move." Y'all remember that one? No, y'all don't. All right, whatever. But those are the songs that I remember him from, and but he does write for other people and stuff like that. And in the interview he was explaining like his story, his journey through music and stuff like that. So the whole interview wasn't bad, but of course the clips that people are going to take are the salacious stuff. And I felt like he didn't really need to tell that. It sounded like and I kind of fall into this category too. In high school, I wasn't very popular. As I told you guys before, I didn't lose my virginity until I was 22. The AT2 that you see today, that's not who I was back in the day. So, with that being said, sometimes when you get your first taste of punani, you lose your mind and you start telling things that you shouldn't tell, like, oh, I smashed her, I did this, I did that. And it's not the right thing for you to do, but you do it. Never. Miss Purple, you ain't missing much. Hey, matter of fact, I'll send you some of his music. Anyway, when when you start having sex and you don't get sex very often because you probably were a loser back in the day, and then when you step your game up and all that good stuff, women start flocking, and even vice versa, they start flocking to you, and then you be like, oh, I smashed, I did this. Well, women don't really do that. We do that, but women don't do that. We be all like, oh yeah, she da da da. But this is like a story that you tell your homeboys. You don't go on a podcast and put this shit all out there. Now, who I'm saving for last is Naturi. Now, before I go ahead and get to her, I want to go ahead and play a commercial for you guys. For you, those of you just tuning in, I have a birthday coming up, December 18th. It's gonna be a Dirty 2 live celebration. So I want to go ahead and play that commercial for y'all right now.
You're welcome to AT2's Dirty 2 live birthday celebration on December 18th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you guys are there. Remember, the theme is grown and sexy, or you can just come naked. We're going to have special guests. It's going to be a countdown show. We're going to count down our favorite moments from the show. Also, don't forget, bring a drink, bring your weed, whatever you want to. We're going to have a good time. We're going to play Never Have I Ever. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you guys for joining me for my birthday, December 18th. Be there or be square. Let's get real, y'all.
Yes, Miss Purple, you go crazy. You really. you start feeling some emotions you ain't never felt before. But we gonna talk. Hey, Miss Purple, you need to join me on my birthday show, December 18th, because it's gonna be off the hook, and we can talk a little bit more about that. But I want to go ahead and get into the story with Naturi that he had exposed and told about. Now, y'all might remember. No, y'all all know her from Power, but remember she was in 3LW, right? Well, he told the story about how he had smashed her while she was in 3LW. And oh, for those of you watching right now, just tuning in, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I got my Cash App scrolling at the bottom because you know I'm broke. So, and oh, some of you guys said like you do want to hear about my story about how I became unemployed. And I just want to let you guys know technically I still have a job, but I'll explain that to y'all another day. Anyway, he was talking about how he smashed her. Basically, he said like he smashed one of the girls from 3LW. Didn't even know her name was. He just said, "Oh yeah, the one that's on Power," you know. And he was all like, "Yeah, you know, I was." He was doing his thing. He was inside of her, and he was like, "I felt something." It was like weird. Basically, said that she had the what? Damn it! What do you call it? The Uva ring, the thing that keeps you from getting pregnant inside. Which, I mean, technically, that's not a bad thing, you know, because she's using some kind of contracept, that C word, making sure she don't get pregnant. But it's like, why would you tell that story? He could have told that story without saying her name, you know, putting her business out there that she got the Uva ring. I think it's called Uva ring. I don't know. I'm not for sure. And you know what? It does feel a little weird when you inside. I won't lie. It does feel a little weird. However, I'm gonna tell that story without saying your name. He didn't have to say her name at all. He didn't even have to say that she had the Uva ring inside of her because him telling these stories, even though you know we are in 2020, whenever a woman is, whenever a man tells a woman about how he smashed her or whatever, she's always looked at as a slut. Luckily, in this perspective, I think more people are looking at him like, "What the f are you doing? Like, why are you exposing all of this? Like, what is it all for?" You know, I think everybody's really confused. And have you guys, I want to ask you guys out there, have you ever been in a situation where somebody was telling all your business about how like y'all smashed and stuff like that? Luckily for me, I've never been in that situation because it's kind of like if it's a situation where we're just friends with benefits. I was going to say the F word, but friends with benefits, then that's just what it is. And then we go our separate ways. But in a relationship, I feel like there's a certain amount of respect that you have for somebody. And I feel bad for some of my friends because it's all like, oh, especially when you know a couple too. And I just thought about a story too. When you think of a couple and they break up and they start telling everybody all the each other's business and stuff like that, it can get real ugly. And it's just you shouldn't do that, especially to people that you know that's going to share whenever you guys are in the same circles and stuff like that, and they're going to share information with other people. It's just a horrible situation. And I felt like with Hitmaker, I felt like he could have made the interview all about his music and people would still watch. But at the end of the day, you chose to take that moment and be like, yeah, let me talk about Whitney. Yeah, let me talk about Teairra. Yeah, let me talk about um, Naturi. At the end of the day, those women did not deserve that for you to tell their business like that. Even though one of them, like I said on Love and Hip Hop, you know, it was already exposed. But allegedly, one of the girls that he was dating in Love and Hip Hop, he beat up, and that's why actually he only was on one season. He actually beat her up in a hotel. So I feel that what if the woman that he allegedly beat up told her story? You know, what about if the roles were reversed? You know, he wouldn't like that information. Well, if they said like, oh, and you know, women they like to hit below the belt. They like to say you got a small dangalang. What if they said like, oh, well, it was really small, you know? I know some of y'all gonna be like, we don't do that. But no, y'all do. I've never had that problem because I ain't got a small. You know I'm crazy. Okay. Yes, I've been in that situation in Trick, so called friend and tried to hook up with. Oh. Okay. That's an interesting one. Okay, Miss Purple. See, I love, and make sure you guys go ahead and click on Miss Purple's name and go ahead and subscribe to her channel. She gives the best motivation. I love watching her channel, checking her out. Um, Very inspiring, and she tells her truth, and she's not ashamed of anything that has happened in her past. She's all about, spreading love and positivity, and I love her to death. Are they giving you three? Hey, Miss Purple, sometimes you just be excited, I at least try to give 5 pumps. We'll talk about that more on the Dirty 2 birthday live show about that. It should be fun. As you guys know, my birthday's coming up. My birthday's actually on the 19th, but we're going to celebrate it on the 18th, and then it's going to go into the 19th. We're going to play Never Have I Ever. I'm having special guests on. We just going to have a lot of fun, so hopefully y'all tune in to that day. Oh, Miss Purple said laugh out loud. All right, y'all. Well, I don't want to keep y'all up any longer. Thank you guys for checking out the show. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also, the Cash App if you want to drop a dollar or two down there, or 50 cents. No, you have to do $1 in Cash App. Go ahead and do that so we can upgrade the graphics. I can get some internet, all that good stuff. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and play y'all the outro. Let me know if you liked today's show or not. If you didn't like today's show, then even if you give me a thumbs down on this, it still keeps my video circulating. So thank you. Actually, the thumbs down is because I used to be like, dang, who's thumbs down in my video? But all it does is kind of suppress your video from being shown to those people who dislike it. If you give a thumbs up, then it circulates. And then if you subscribe to my channel and they hit that notification button, that bell, then you'll always see my videos, Why wouldn't you want to hang out with AT2? I'm dope as hell, right? Some of y'all like, oh, this guy, this bald-headed, milk dud looking. All right, y'all. I'm gonna play the outro and then we out. Love y'all. Deuces.